Hey, so maybe you've been freelancing for quite a while now, or maybe you just started. Either way, you're already thinking, okay, what's next? What are my next moves here? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. We have our special guest, Charli Marie from Charli Marie TV. Make sure to check out our YouTube channel. I'm featured there also. Links below, obviously. But today we're going to talk about, okay, what are some of the additional paths that you can take now that you've started freelancing? We can use that as almost a stepping stool to other opportunities. So we got many different paths to talk about today. So stay tuned. So Charli, the first thing I wanted to talk about was this idea that you do need more. I think a lot of freelancers just default to feeling unhappy because they feel like they need more because they see their friends doing more, or they want to make this magical, certain, 7-figure mark or whatever. But is that the case? Can a freelancer just be completely happy serving a few clients and that's it?
I think so. I think that freelancing can add like some form of creative fulfillment to your life, and maybe you don't need to be doing that full time to feel fulfilled in it. And so if you can just do it on the side alongside your current job and stick with all the benefits and the security that you have there, that can be a great way to move forward.
I love it. Are there any questions that we can ask ourselves as freelancers just to kind of understand if maybe there is more, or maybe we should actually, maybe things are going well?
Well, I think that continuing to watch the rest of this video will help, because you'll get an idea of the next path and see if that feels like it's something that's for you. Like, consider them, explore them, but if you're content with where you are, that's okay as well.
Yes. Now, of course, we as human beings always want to know what all of our options are, and we always seem to want more. So let's see if these other things make sense for you. And if not, well, maybe things are good. Now, if you haven't caught the first videos, if you were just starting out with freelancing, you want to know how to get your first clients or some things you can do to make more money, make sure to check out the other videos in the playlist here and links below. But let's move on to, what else can a freelancer do? And this is where your story comes into play, because you started out as a freelancer with some clients, and then what happened?
So I started off working in retail, like that's my first way of making money when I was in university. Started freelancing on the side for a bunch of stores that were in the retail space that I was working in. I worked at a kids' clothing store. And having that work allowed me to get my first full-time design job. I took that work and that client experience and the projects that I'd worked on there.
Like a job?
Yeah, like a full-time design job. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. So the client work was really important because that gave you, how important was that client work to help you get that job?
I think it was really important because although I was in university and was studying design, so I had like the degree, having the client work as well set me apart from my peers who perhaps didn't have that experience with working on real world projects.
I love this because I'm thinking about my work in architecture. I remember going to university, college. She's in the UK, so anyway. So I went to architecture school, and even after architecture school, I didn't have real life experience.
Right.
And that's what everybody was like, oh, well, if you want to get hired by us, you need real life experience. So freelancing, wow, what a great way to get that real life experience if the job is really what you want.
Exactly.
So how do you know, I'm thinking ahead, what the right job is for you based on the client work that you do?
Yeah, I mean, doing client work is a great way to try out a bunch of different types of design or writing styles, whatever it is that your craft is that you want to freelance in. So trying out those things within a little project might help you figure out what one you might want to do full time.
Can you reference your clients when you are, like, for example, writing out a resume for that job?
Yeah, for sure. If there's any particular clients that you feel especially like this company that you're applying for would know about, for sure reference them, because that's going to increase your reputation in their eyes because you've already worked with this company that they know of. Yeah.
Now, I do have to ask you, are you still doing things on the side even though you have this job?
I am, yeah.
And the company's okay with that?
Yeah, the company's okay with that. That's definitely something you should check, for sure.
Okay.
Because not every company is, but it's really important to me to be able to do things on the side alongside my job, so that's what I look for in a job.
And how do you balance that?
Well, first of all, it comes down to a lot of time management. I like to work in the mornings and evenings on the side hustle stuff. And yeah, making sure that the freelance projects I take on aren't too closely related to the kind of work I do as well. Like I talked before about creative fulfillment, in my day job I do a lot of web design. That's mainly what I do. So I don't tend to do that much freelance because I feel like I get my fix of that in my day job.
Yeah.
So on the side I do things like hand lettering, perhaps branding design, merchandise, t-shirt design, that sort of thing, because it's fun and it's not something that I get to do at my job, and so they kind of balance each other out nicely.
I love that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, instead of getting a job, some people don't want a job. And they have this side hustle, they want to go full time with it.
Yeah.
Now, tell me really quick, like why the job? Why not full time with your side hustle?
I really like having a full-time job. I like being part of a company. I like being part of a team, and that's just something that is really important to me. So I've not tried to go freelancing full time because of that.
But there are some people out there who they want their own business. They want to go full time. Do you know anybody who can do that? Or
Yeah,
who
I think there might be someone in the room right now, actually.
Whoa, your hair and your.
Yeah, I'm different.
This is Caleb, and he's our videographer for all things here on the YouTube channel. And you do your side hustle full time, so it's not a side hustle; it's your hustle now.
Yeah.
Your video work. Tell me why you decided to not keep it as something on the side, but really go full time with it.
Yeah, so I used to work at Fizzle, and I did a lot of video stuff there. We were making courses, doing interviews like this with entrepreneurs, and that was my favorite part of my job. And so eventually I just did a little bit on the side. I did some video editing for you. I filmed a wedding or two, and I just decided to go full bore into doing it myself.
So what does that mean, full bore? Like, what changed for you?
A few things. One, I did have 1 or 2 clients leading up to leaving to do it full time. 2 was mindset. I felt like I could do it. And 3 would have been a bunch of money saved, but I didn't have that one.
Yeah.
So usually I would recommend, save up some money, because going from a regular paycheck to client work is completely different.
Yeah.
Just when the money comes in.
So
But I didn't do that part. I made a list of 10 to 20 people I wanted to work with, emailed all of them. I had about a month and a half to 2 months.
Were these people you knew?
Yeah, just people in my existing network, like Charlie talked about in a previous video.
Yeah.
And was like, hey, I'm gonna go full time with video. Do you have any video needs? Some of them would be more tailored to, this is what I think you could do with video. But yeah, pretty much jumped.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, when you make that jump, oftentimes it's just going to be you, right? Because you were starting on the side, it was just you. Now you're going full time with yourself, and it's just you. And that's one way to do it. But there are limitations there, right? And so eventually you had to do what?
Well, eventually, if you want to scale it at all, you have to hire people. And if you run a business, you want to be able to do more than you can by yourself. And especially if you want to get above a certain rate that you can charge, then you're probably going to have to build a team so that you can offer more or take on more clients. And so that next step from being solo is just starting to build a team. And I did that by having someone come help me with editing, because that was my major stopping point, was like, oh, I just had so much editing to do, and that would keep me. It was a bottleneck, yeah. So I hired someone part-time for one project, then I hired them part-time indefinitely, and then to full-time. So I've slowly built my team purposely. I've not tried to grow it really fast, because I don't want to take clients that I don't want to work for just for the money. I don't want to, I still want the lifestyle part of running a business to be, okay, I don't want to have a ton of people working for me. So I've hired slow when there was money to do so, and just kind of made it from there.
I think a big thing that a lot of freelancers who are going from side hustle to full-time wonder is, they really care about the art, right, of what they do. And so how do you build a team around that? You're still filming, right? Would you ever hire somebody to film for you?
Yeah, and that is just one of the biggest mental barriers with building a team is, I'm the best, I can do everything, it's gonna take them longer, they're not gonna do it as well as me, that whole mindset thing. But that might be how it is in the beginning, until you maybe teach them how you like to do whatever it is. But eventually, they'll get to a point that they're better than you at that thing just by specializing in it. Right. So I do hire people to help me film, or we even did it for your book trailer for Will It Fly. I had someone come in that was really good at using gimbals and to do a specific shot that I had. So I do hire people for certain pieces, and it's still something I can get better at, hiring people to do parts of my business for me. But it is a big mental barrier of like, I'm the best, I can do everything, I'm a superhero.
Yeah.
But you're not, sorry. Or I'm not. You might be.
And then finally, we know a few people who've done this. They've done freelancing work, some on the side, some full-time, some with a team. But then they find like a new opportunity, right? That they're just so involved in that space that they're just like, why isn't there a solution for that? And then they go and build it, right? And a good friend of ours, Nathan Barry, who was originally a developer and a UI, UX designer, really, really well versed in that, who just one day was like, I'm not very happy with my email provider. I'm going to go build my own. And such became ConvertKit. And it's now one of my favorite tools that I use. Any advice for people who are like, oh, you know what? I don't know if I could do this freelancing thing or even the thing I'm doing right now full time or forever, excuse me. But how can I open my eyes to opportunities that might present themselves in a freelancing situation such that I can build something like a software or a course where I can teach or whatever?
I think it has to come naturally. I think you can force it, just like you can force quitting a job because you're unhappy or quitting the business you started or quit freelancing. At any time, you could just jump ship and deal with it. But I think if you let it come naturally when an opportunity arises, then that's usually better. So for Nathan, for example, he was running a successful, software company, and then he did some digital teaching with his ebooks and courses and stuff. But he had that problem that was like nagging him. And I was in a mastermind group with him when he started ConvertKit, and it was a side thing for him, just like a freelancing thing could be a side job for somebody. So I think it just has to start organically, and it's always helpful to follow the money. So until Nathan was making enough money from ConvertKit, at least a little bit, he couldn't commit to it. So I think it's helpful sometimes to just be patient and wait sometimes for something to develop, whether that's your freelancing business or the next thing after that.
This is why I always recommend freelancing. It's an amazing way to start an online business, even though it's not really the traditional online business like we talk about. It's a lot of work, it's active, but it presents those opportunities to you and also pays you a little bit such that you can get to a comfortable level to take those risks and take those chances that one who maybe wasn't doing freelancing couldn't take. Yeah. Cool, so really quick, I want to bring Charli back. So Charli, come on down. Come on down. So we talked a lot about different kinds of paths that you can take as a freelancer today. You can do something on the side and then get a job, just like Charli, and still continue to do something on the side. You can choose to go full-time, starting out small and then starting to build out a team. You can look for new opportunities as well. So pick your path, and I think it takes a lot of reflection on really where you want to go and who do you want to become. I think that's the most important thing. Don't just do things to do things. Do things because there's a goal and somewhere you want to go. So, and really quick, Caleb, just thank you for all the work you do here on the YouTube channel. Big shout out to Caleb right there. And then also Charli, thank you for being a guest here on the channel for the last 3 videos about freelancing. I think everybody loved all the information. Any final words to share?
Yeah, I guess tell me more about you. I would love to get to know your audience, Pat, because it seems like you've got some pretty great people watching you. They are great people. Yeah. What skills do you have that you're going to offer freelancing? What work do you do? Tell me about it down below in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. I'll be checking them out down there. And thanks for having me as part of the series.
Absolutely. And make sure you check out Charli's channel, Charli Marie TV. We'll put the link below in the description, obviously. And like she said, leave a comment. Tell us about, actually, I'm interested too. And I think all of you will be interested in the community that we have together here. What's your skill set? What kinds of things do you offer as services to others? Be kind of cool to meet y'all. But thanks, guys. Take care. Woo. Yay. That was lame.
Again.
Oh, okay. Nice.